He was a beloved international celebrity who made headlines in the 80s for his jet-setting playboy lifestyle. Sensing that his nation was being held back from its great potential, he left behind the comforts and glamour of his previous life to endure the slings and arrows of the political arena. As destiny would have it, in the mid-2010s, he made both headlines and history by defeating two powerful, corrupt political family dynasties with a populist campaign that galvanized his fellow citizens and catapulted him into the highest office in the nation. Despite, or perhaps because of his many accomplishments in office, the corrupt national security establishment did everything in its power to undermine him and ultimately remove him from office. Now that he seeks office once again, the national security state has pulled out all of the stops to stop him, including countless phony indictments related to mishandling of classified material, inciting riots, and more. Despite what my American listeners might think, I'm not talking here about President Donald Trump, but another larger-than-life populist leader, the great Imran Khan, former Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan and current leader of the PTI party. The embattled Khan joins us from his home in Lahore, Pakistan, where he's currently confined to house arrest. Mr. Prime Minister, greetings from Miami, Florida. It is an absolute honor to be speaking with you.
My pleasure, Darren. Look forward.
No, we have a lot of interesting material to cover. And of course, we want to hear about your condition and the persecution of you and your supporters in particular. And obviously more about the plot to remove you from power by the Pakistani deep state and maybe even elements of the US government. But before all of that, I'd like to take us back to the journey leading to July 26, 2018. The date you were elected prime minister. Now, as I alluded to, you defeated two entrenched political dynasties and families, Bhutto and Sharif, in your electoral victory. Can you please explain to the audience what it meant for someone not from these families or from the military to rule Pakistan? What was the agenda you ran on, and what are your proudest accomplishments in office?
Well, Darren, I formed my Movement for Justice. That was my party 27 years ago. And reason I called it Movement for Justice is because, you know, being a student of politics, political history, and especially my getting exposure as a teenager to England, where I went to study, and as well as I used to play professional sport. I found out that the only difference between prosperous countries and poor countries is rule of law. Countries that have a just system, where where the weak are protected from the strong by the constitution and the judiciary, and where the powerful are brought under the rule of law, they prosper. Those countries forge ahead of other countries, which despite all the resources remain poor because they do not have rule of law. So hence I call my party Movement for Justice. But when you try and bring the powerful under the control, bringing them under the law, that means you're taking on powerful mafias who are benefiting from a corrupt system. So, so when they are not going to give up control easily because they are beneficiaries. And they're from power, and power brings in money, and they're above law. They can break the law and get away with it. So this is not just the problem, Darren, with Pakistan. Basically, it is the problem with the entire developing world. The poor countries are poor because they cannot bring the powerful elites under the law. And so the elites of the